Resident Evil 6, one of the most controversial games in the franchise, loved by some, hated by most. But why? What did Resident Evil 6 do? Why is it looked down on like your brother that's in jail for working with Walter White? So let's dive into what went wrong with this game and why fans turned on it. In this video, we'll break down the reasons why Resident Evil 6 gets so much hate, like camping in COD. Welcome in, players, and thank you for clicking on the video. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments why you think Resident Evil 6 was so hated, or if you think that it wasn't hated, let me know. Let's talk about the biggest issue fans have with Resident Evil 6, the shift away from survival horror. The original Resident Evil games were known for their horror, their suspense, the slow building dread, the tight corridors, the tank controls, limited ammo, and the fear of the unknown. In contrast, Resident Evil 6 focused on heavy action, large-scale set pieces, and more traditional shooter mechanics. This change made the game feel less like Resident Evil and more like a generic action game, like Call of Duty. Fans of the older titles felt betrayed. The slow building dread, the tight corridors, all of that was replaced by explosions, constant action, and quick time events. Resident Evil 6 featured 4 interconnected campaigns, each starring different characters like Leon, Chris, and Jake. While the idea of multiple storylines sounded cool, it ended up feeling like there was too much going on at once. The story became a convoluted mess. It tried to do too much, juggling different characters, plot threads, and world-ending stakes. It became hard to keep track of what was actually going on. And don't get me started on the villain, who wasn't exactly memorable or even particularly interesting. Then there's the gameplay itself. RE6 threw in a little bit of everything. Shooting, hand-to-hand combat, vehicular combat, even platforming sections. But the problem is, it felt like the game couldn't decide what it wanted to be. Some moments were just about shooting zombies, other about dodging huge explosions, or chasing a boss down in a car, or running away from a boss. The tone shifted so much it felt disjointed. Players didn't know whether to be scared or to just shoot everything in sight. It took away the tension that made earlier games so memorable. Another reason Resident Evil 6 received backlash was because of its identity crisis. The game was trying to appeal to both old fans of the series and new players who were more into the modern action-packed shooters. But instead of successfully blending those two, it ended up alienating both groups. Old school fans felt it lost what made Resident Evil great. The newcomers weren't necessarily drawn to the over-the-top action. It just didn't hit the sweet spot that Resident Evil games before it did, with its balance of action and horror. When RE6 was released, critics and fans alike slammed it for these reasons. But the truth is, the game still had its supporters. And to this day, it still has its supporters. I don't hate this game per se, but I feel like if they would have slapped a different name on it, it would have done better. Some people enjoy the action, the variety of gameplay, and the characters, but unfortunately, these positives weren't enough to overcome the game's many flaws. In the end, RE6 became a bit of a black sheep in the Resident Evil franchise. The backlash set the stage for Capcom to go back to the survival horror roots with Resident Evil 7. Let me know in the comments if you want me to talk about that. Why does Resident Evil 6 get so much hate? It's a mix of a major identity crisis, a confusing over-the-top story, and gameplay shift that didn't quite land. But like anything in gaming, it's not all bad. If you love big action sequences and don't mind a bit of chaos, Resident Evil 6 can still be fun at times. Let me know in the comments what you think of Resident Evil 6. Love it or hate it, we all have our reasons. Thanks for watching, and if you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope y'all enjoyed. Let me know in the comments what you want me to talk about next. Just anything down in the comments. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Thank you very much, players. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.